What's up, my chatterboxes? This is my review for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Season 12, Episode 20, More Love, More Problems. So if you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So we're going to just get right into the messiness of it all. So it starts out with Nene and Greg. Nene comes shaying down the goddamn steps like she was on a goddamn runway or something like that. So she was telling Greg how everything went down in Greece between her and Kenya. Well, we find out that he actually is doing work with the American Cancer Survivor Society because he is a cancer survivor. I'm sorry. So he's being, proactive with that, and he's in remission with the cancer. She said, along with some, the treatment that he received from the hospital, along with some holistic drugs, he is in remission. So I'm glad to hear, that, because that cancer was a nasty battle that, that he had to endure. So getting back to that, she was telling him how everything went down with Kenya, and she said that she really doesn't have anything against Kenya, but since Kenya getting all like that, she letting her have it. First of all, Nene, to be quite honest, I don't even know when the beef started. I really, really don't. But you do take jabs at Kenya. And you can't get mad at people for not wanting to deal with your messy ass just because you're ready to deal with them. You hold people to a different standard that you're not willing to, adhere to yourself. Like, even in past situations with, Cynthia, you said, oh, when Cynthia questioned you on something, I can invite anybody I want, but then you turn around and get mad at her for doing the very same thing that you checked her on. Come on. So if Kenya want to be mad at you for calling her daughter a buffalo, which you say that that's not what you meant, she has every right to be. If Kenya don't want to deal with you, she has every reason not to deal with you. You know what I mean? You can't start shit and then decide how somebody else going to react to the shit that you started. You know what I mean? Everybody not willing to be on that yo-yo, with your emotions. 1 minute you want to be friends and 1 minute you don't. Like, everybody not with that shit. So you going to have to deal with it. So she basically said, well, since Kenya is not being, receptive to her wanting to bury the hatchet, then it's like, screw her, basically. That's what she was saying. So she was telling how they was all willing to embrace her because she and Mark is supposedly about to get a divorce and things like that. But Kenya, she wasn't open to that. So we all know Greg on ride and die for Nene. He had her back. He was like, well then, screw it. You know what I mean? And he didn't have a problem with her telling him that she, was trying to spit the popcorn on him. Like, he didn't, he went along with it. I'm like, daggone, how old are you? Petty meets petty. That's why they click. And I get it. That's your wife. You gonna ride with your wife. But I feel as though you need to check your wife and let her know when she's wrong. My thing, if her and Kenya got some issues and they want to argue it out or whatever, that's fine. But she should not ever try to come out her mouth and spit on anyone. That's out of line. Period. Point blank. Period. How old are we? How old are we? Because if the Kenya would have hauled off and smacked her, then that would have been an issue. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm moving on from Nene because Nene, she gets on my goddamn nerves. So now we have Ty and Kandi. They at the house. Candy's packing because we all know she got the role for the Shy. So she said the baby is due in 7 weeks, and I think taping is like a total of 10 weeks. So she'll be back and forth, between Chicago and Atlanta. So she was saying that how she feel a little guilty because there's a lot of things at the house that she feel like that she's going to be missing out on, and trying to juggle, the work, with the family is kind of a little difficult. So he's being supportive, but he don't really like the fact that she's doing the sex scene. But he's being supportive. He's trying, to roll with it because, like he said, you've been trying to do this acting thing for so long, you can't not do it. You know what I'm saying? So he is being supportive, but that sex scene got him, on the fence a little bit. But he did tell her, he was like, listen, if you want to do it, you want to have to do it right. You want to represent me. He don't want people like, well, damn, what's up with you? Kandi, you got a sex line and all that. You got to bring it. You got to bring it. We don't want no, boring ass Kandi up in there. We just don't. You got to bring the sex. You got to bring the spice. You got to bring the moves. You got to bring all that shit. If you ain't bringing that, we don't want to see it. We don't want to see it, okay? Anyway, so she was saying how she wanted to carve out a little bit of time in his schedule so they can see a counselor. So he was like, well, what's up? Like, why do you want to see a counselor? So apparently they've been having like little hiccups in the road, and she said before it get out of control, she just want to go to a counselor and so they can talk it out. And he was like, well, just sketch out some time and your busy schedule and we can make that happen. He was being a little sarcastic or whatever like that. But I think that is a good idea for couples to do, because a lot of marriages break up because of communication or the lack of communication. And the fact that she recognized a problem, it hasn't manifested into something that would break them apart, but before it do, she want to get a hold of it, and I applaud that. I think more couples need to adapt that behavior, because if so, we might not have as many divorces that we have. So I'm happy to see that's what they're doing. And I'm rooting for Kandi and Todd. I want them to go the long haul to death do they part type of situation. That's what I want for them. And hopefully, if they keep on this track, that's what was going to happen. You know what I mean? So, kudos to you guys. Kudos to you guys. So, now we have Cynthia. She's meeting up with Nene. The two of them, oh my God, look like they called each other on the phone. Like, what you wearing, girl? I'm wearing this. Okay, I'm going to wear this. Because they both had some cheetah print shit. I'm like, are we in the episode of Tiger King? So they were discussing the things that went on in Greece. And Nene explained to Cynthia that she was kind of pissed off at her the last night because she thought they was on a good footing, and then they pulled that shit where they wanted to imitate her and Kenya, and she wasn't really feeling it. She thought it was like they was trying to make fun of her. So Cynthia was like, no, that's not what happened. She was like, I was going to, do you justice. She was like, it was all in fun. She was like, I felt like we came a long way, and it was no shade or anything, behind it. So she was like, well, let me see what you was going to do for me, girl. Wait, let me see what you was going to do. So Cynthia go imitating Nene. When I tell y'all, Cynthia had Nene ass down pat. Nene couldn't help but to crack up laughing, okay? That shit was funny. I ain't the one to be getting on here doing no imitations. So, so that ain't my twist, y'all, because I will screw it up. But when I tell y'all that shit was funny, it was funny. And Nene couldn't, like I said, Nene couldn't help but laugh. And I guess it'll lighten the load a little bit for the reunion, only because I think she really thought her and Kandi was being, smart, but now she knows that it wasn't no ill intent behind the situation. Anyway, so then Portia kind of pulls up in the driveway. They goes, in the parking lot of Swag. They goes out there. And she was like, man, they all dressing alike and everything like that. She was, because they did, I'm telling you, their outfits were so much similar. But is it me, or was Nene wig giving us Kim Zolciak tease, like a hot ass mess. That blonde wig wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't feeling that one anyway. So Portia, she make mention that her and Nene live in the same neighborhood, so they run into each other all the time. I don't know about that. It looked like it might be convenient for the cameras. So she was explaining to them that she had like an event that she wanted them to come to. So apparently she's going to have a March of Dimes event she's hosting. So all the girls is going to end up participating in that. So that should be interesting, to say the very least. So moving on from them, we have Kenya. She's meeting up with the lawyer. She's trying to sort out, you know, her assets and what it, how she's not trying to undermine anything from Mark, but she's coming to the reality that the relationship is over, and she want to protect baby Brooklyn. So they're going to move her assets into a trust, so he won't be able to have access to it. And I think that's very, very smart. Baby Brooklyn only has Kenya to depend on. Now, Mark do adore, Baby Brooklyn and stuff like that, but I don't know I don't know the laws and stuff like that, but I would hope that she wouldn't. Like, if something was to happen to Kenya today or tomorrow, I would hope that Mark wouldn't get Baby Brooklyn. He's horrible. He's a horrible person. Like, I don't think I would want him raising my child, even though it's his child. Like, he give me abusive vibes, emotionally, and verbally abusive. And I don't think that I would want, Baby Brooklyn and his, presence too much, without Kenya balancing that out. So she was just saying how, she think that she makes more money to him, and she just don't want him to get a hold of her assets and things like that. She want everything to be fair. And listen, I ain't gonna never tell nobody don't protect what's theirs, okay? Protect your shit at all costs. Because guess what? He gonna do the same about his. He got a restaurant in New York. He don't want you with that. He gonna do the same. You probably don't even, the way he is and the way he was being secretive and keeping you from a lot of shit, you probably don't even know what all he has, to be quite honest. I bet you he has more than what you even know about. And he'd be the type of person that try to clean you out, leave you for broke, and have his shit with you not even knowing about. So do what you gotta do, Kenya. I'm with you on this. And like the lawyer said, the faster we get this shit, taken care of, the faster you can get on moving on with your life. And that's what it's all about. You made a mistake by marrying him. Hopefully you won't make the mistake again, because you're not, spring chicken. And we're going to move on. We ain't going to sit up there and harp on it. We not. Because, what's done is done. You can't change it. And at the end of the day, you got your little girl out of it. So, hey, it's a win-win. Well, I'm not going to say it's a win-win, because you are losing, the man that you claim to love. But you ain't completely, assed out. You got your child, and you wanted her for a long time. So it's a bright side to a bad situation. So now we have Kandi. She's FaceTiming Todd and Ace. And she's kind of having a hard time being away from the family. So they were telling her the things that they, had going on. Todd and I think he either was going to take them to Chuck E. Cheese, or they went to Chuck E. Cheese. I forgot. Well, talking about Ace, Ace, he's really taking it hard, that Kandi isn't there. Like, oh my God, that little boy, he had a whole crying session. It broke my little heart. And I know what it does to Kandi as a working mom. You know what I mean? Because you have to work. You have to provide. But we as mothers do have that guilt. Like, dang, maybe I should be with my child. Maybe I should be spending more time with my kid. But on the flip side of that, you have to work to provide for your children. But see, the difference between Kandi and the difference between, a lot of us other working women that have, and we don't work, we don't eat. Kandi, you have millions of dollars. So at some point, you're going to have to slow it down and put the hustle aside. You have enough millions where you can devote more time to your family and not take on so many other projects. I know you is a creative person, and a lot of times those creative juices, be running, but it's you steady adding on to your family. So at a certain point, you gonna have to slow it. You gonna have to slow it up. You gonna have to slow it up. And Todd might have to put his foot down with that, even though I think he don't want to come off like he, stopping you or things like that because of the rocky situation that y'all had in the beginning where everybody's talking about how he was, just out for self or trying to, profit or what you had going on. But at some point, he going to have to be like, look, fuck all that. We need you here, and you going to have to, stop for, the hustling for a minute. So we'll see if that ever happens because Kandi been hustling for years now. Anyway, so now we have Eva, Cynthia, and we have baby Maverick. She finally had the baby. And when she said that Portia baby looked like Dennis with a bow, well, this baby looked like her husband. Yes, he do. He do not look like the other son. He looks like the husband. Anyway, Cynthia was, letting her know everything that went on in Greece, telling her about the fiascos that took place. And she had told her how Nene said, because, with Kenya had pulled that shit about the winery and was pressing her and this and the other. And she said that Nene had said, see, you let her get away with what you wouldn't let me get away with. If it had been me, you would have been all the way down my throat. So Eva was like, well, you're allowed to be different with your friends. Like, what? Then she was telling her how Nene almost spit in Kenya's face. So Eva was like, oh, that's when you throw hands. She is absolutely right, because somebody spit on me. I feel like a lot of people feel this way. If someone spit on you, that is like one of the nastiest things that you can do. The person that's on the receiving end of that spit, if they don't haul off and mollywop the shit out of that person who did the spitting, something wrong with them. Because they know goddamn way I'm going to sit up there and let anybody disrespect me like that. You got to be crazy. You got to be crazy. So they were doing like a little photo shoot for the baby as well. The little baby is cute. So Cynthia was making jokes like to Eva mom, because she was there as well. She was saying, just tell Eva don't have another baby for the next year or so we can get our cocktails in and things like that. Because Eva has seemed like she been pregnant every goddamn year since she been on this daggone show. Like, all right, Eva, because she said that she wanted 5 kids, and she said she still do, but she don't know if she want to carry the next 2. So, I guess they looking for surrogate. She's not thinking about it at the moment, but I guess in the future that may be an option for her and her husband. We'll see, because she kind of bounced back, but them pregnancies ain't no joke. I think she said this was the easiest one, and they may mention that she was in labor for 22 hours. So I'm like, well, how long was she in labor with the other ones? Because this shit, 22 hours, that's a long ass time. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay, moving on from that. Now we have the Portia's event. Everybody is, in attendance. We have Marlo, we have Nene, We have Cynthia. We have Kandi. We have Shamia. We have, I think, if I didn't say Kenya, we have Kenya. We have Tanya. We have all the girls in attendance. So basically, what the event is to bring awareness to women, and pregnancy and everything surrounding that of the sort. So the girls, well, before we even get to that, Nene brought up the fact that it was on the blogs that Mark may have had other um, families that he was entertaining, or other women, I should say, that he was entertaining. And Portia, I kind of like that about Portia, because she was like, listen, that because it's on the blog, that don't make it true. We don't know it's true. And from what I understood, that they were on the, getting back on the right track, because she got her ring on. So Nene and I wanted to keep the gossip mill going, because Tanya even was, feeding into it, talking about, oh, is that the cookie lady or something, things to that effect. And Nene saying that Tanya should find those women and bring them to Kenya. Like, listen, Kenya was absolutely wrong with what she did to Tanya. But Tanya, you ain't no match for Kenya. So I think you need to sit this one out. I really, really do. And don't let Nene put the battery in your back for you to get embarrassed on national TV, because you too nice of a person, and those you just don't have those comebacks for her. You understand what I'm saying? So you just need to stay in your lane a little bit, because if you wasn't able to do it when she actually was shading you with this woman, what makes you think you're gonna be able to be any, you know, I'm any competition for her if she comes at your throat, if you try to, throw this in her face. Like, she's going to demolish you, so shut up. And I do appreciate the fact that Portia shut that shit down, but truth be told, she already been on the receiving end of those blogs, so she not gonna be that quick to jump and be like, ooh, yeah, because she already know how that shit go. They was already talking about her goddamn fiance, engaging in bestiality activity and all of those crap. So she know how that shit go. So anyway, so at the event, all the ladies had told their stories. Portia got up there and told how she had a miscarriage, and that was something that she normally hasn't, don't talk about, but she feels as though she want to, bring awareness to it, so women, won't have any shame in being able to tell their stories, which is right, because a lot of women have shame when they like have miscarriages, or they're told that they can't naturally, have babies and things like that. It's a stigma behind that. They feel less than, or some kind of broken. But women need to understand that it's a lot of women that goes through these issues, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's nothing to feel. It's no reason to feel like you're less than a woman, because you're not. You know what I mean? It's just certain things happen to certain people, and we don't have the answers to it. You know what I mean? But it's good that people can talk about it. It's good to hear other people's stories, and because when you're going through certain stuff, sometimes it's just naturally, when you go through certain stuff, you in your mind, you think you're the only one that's going through it. And when you hear other women, other stories, you be like, okay, it's not just me. You understand what I'm saying? Even though, I don't have these women's stories, I can sympathize with them, because I'm a woman. So I know, you know what I mean? I can sympathize with it. So anyway, so Portia, she got up and spoke first. Then we had Tanya, how she spoke about, she finally, met her forever, and she's not able, to have children. Well, she's not producing enough eggs or whatever. So I guess she would have to get like in vitro or something like that. And, she's having a hard time conceiving. So she opened up about that, and she was like, it's nice, to be, like she said, it's nice to be able to tell a story. So, you know, other women are going through it, and you can get feedback as well. So even Nene said that she had suffered a miscarriage before. We also had Marlo. Surprisingly, she showed a different side, of her that I like. So she said that, a lot of things that went on in her childhood prohibited her from having children. So I mean, I kind of thought, and this is just my assumption. I have no clue as to if I'm right or not. So I don't know if she was somehow maybe, molested as a child, or I don't know, because she said it's certain things that happened in her childhood that prevented her from not having, children. So I don't know what that could be, but it was just giving me those vibes, but I could be wrong. And she was like, what's wrong? She was feeling like, well, what's wrong with her? Because she said that she had 2 ectopic pregnancies. So that's when you have like 2 boo pregnancies, and they can take you out. They really can kill you. She was like, and she just was wondering like what was wrong with her. But now that she has her children, her nieces and nephews, she actually has her 2 nephews, and she feels as though that's her purpose, and that may be your purpose, because you're here, you're able, and you're in a position where you can help out where it's needed, and that may be what God had planned for you. You know what I'm saying? But I was happy that we seen that vulnerable side in Marlo. I was. Then we had Shamia. She was talking about how she her water had broke, and she was, at the hospital, I guess she got rushed to the hospital, and how the epidural didn't really work. So then they had to give her another one. So in the interim, she felt a lot of that pain that she should not have felt. And then they gave her another one. Then she had to get like an emergency C-section. And then after that, they had to take her back in because she wasn't clotting. She had a lot of shit going on. And then Kenya had said that Shamia had called her. And when she said that, Portia's mouth was like open up like, wow. And I don't know if Kenya just broke that up because Shamia was saying this, telling the story, or if Kenya was trying to like rub it into Portia a little bit, because Portia had no clue. And Shamia and Kenya not even close. And Portia did make mention to that. She was like, well, I don't know why she would feel as though she should call her. They're not even that close. Why wouldn't she call me? That kind of was like a little weird to me. But when Shamia was talking about how, she was having all those problems, it had made me think about a lot of the articles and a lot of things that I was seeing across social media. And I didn't even realize that it was a thing. A lot of African American women is dying over child abuse. I mean, over, when they give birth to their children, childbirth. And it's based on, a lot of the factors is based on racism. Like, a lot of the people aren't taking these African American women seriously when they having complaints, and it's leading to their death. So it's a big thing about that. If you guys have time, look that up. You guys would be surprised about the statistics that how many women, African American women, die because of neglect due to the medical professionals not hearing their concerns out. Is serious. Okay, serious. So when they were talking about that, I was like, that was like a heavy load. That was heavy load, because this shit is really happening. So moving on from that, now we have Kenya. She's there with her, I think it was her cousin or her aunt. I'm not exactly sure, Lisa. So that's who she's going to leave in charge of baby Brooklyn if something should happen to her or Mark. But like I said, I mean, I know legally she probably can't just give her to Lisa, but I wouldn't want Mark having baby Brooklyn. So she was just explaining to her how Mark never let her in. And that mofo never even wanted her to meet his parents. She wasn't allowed. Who the hell is he to say you not allowed? See, it was too many red flags in the beginning for you to even consider marrying him. I don't understand. How you gonna know what type of person he is or try to get to know him? Sometimes it's good to know how he interact with his mom or his father. You can get kind of like a feeling of, what type of man you might be getting involved in. And the fact that he did some bullshit like that, I don't even understand how you went for that. So Lisa was asking her, well, if he, because she said she wanted him to be involved in Baby Brooklyn life as much as he can. So she was like, well, when he come here, to Atlanta, are you going to allow him to stay there? She was like, no, absolutely not. Yep, don't let him come there. Don't let him come there. But y'all remember Kenya had another aunt with the short hair that she was really, really close with. I can't remember what happened with her. Did she pass away or did they have a falling out? If you guys remember, put that in the comments below because I don't remember what happened with her. So she said that she picked Lisa because they, was raised on the same values. They were raised in the same household. And she know that Lisa would care for Brooklyn, like she were her own. So Lisa was honored and she said she'll do the best that she can, to her best abilities to, take care of, Baby Brooklyn if that time comes. But hopefully we won't get to that point. But it's good to have everything, mapped out, just in case, because we just never know when it's going to be our time. We just never know. Okay, moving on from that, now we have Ty and Kandi again. So Kandi is back in Atlanta, and they're having like a little serious conversation because Kandi is on her way to another event. So Ty is basically saying what I said earlier in the video. He basically told her, like, listen, I'm here to support you. And a lot of the support come from, I don't want people to think that I'm holding you back because of the way people perceive me to be in the beginning. And he brought up, like, they did Flash Boys, like a Mama Joyce and stuff and everything like that. So he was saying, everybody respect the money guy. Everybody want the money. So, he's involved in a lot of things pertaining to Kandi's business and, entrepreneurship and things like that because that brings in the money. He said, but before he met her, he was doing production and TV. He said that's what he liked to do. He missed it. He said he didn't take a lot of those jobs because they don't pay as much as what he making now. He was like, I don't want to be a trucker because I guess they had like a trucker business going on. I sympathize with Ty in that manner. Like, I kind of adapted and conformed to your life just to discredit the naysayers saying that I wasn't good enough, basically. And at some point, Ty gonna have to say, fuck y'all. You gotta, how you going to nurture Kandi and be a good man to Kandi if you're not happy? You understand what I'm saying? And like he said, you need to spend time with your family. You can't make every event because she was trying to support Portia. I mean, she supported the Portia event. Dr. Jackie had something she was going to. He was like, well, what about your family? You have a family. So she apologized and she let him know that, she loves him and she very much, involved, with the family. But he ain't feeling that shit. Like, and I don't blame Ty. Like, Kandi gonna have to tighten up. She gonna have to tighten up. He was like, okay, we rocking with the acting stuff. But all that other little stuff, you gonna have to put that to the side. You know what I mean? Spend time with your family. We already seen Baby Ace crying his little heart out. Like, come on. Like he said, I love my family, but I love you too. I want to spend time with you. And she better... Ty is a good man because I ain't heard nothing on the blogs about him. He ain't dip out on you yet. You better spend time with your man, Kandi. Spend time with your man before you don't have him. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. So that's all we have for this episode. It wasn't really much going on, but I'm giving it to you guys anyway. I know I'm a little late, but y'all still got it. So if you guys like the content, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to holler at your girl. Bye.